All right. Welcome back to Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, session 34. We are glad to be back. We're here on a Wednesday here, so we did a little bit of rescheduling. So we're going to be back this Friday as well. So 2 sessions pretty close together, but all the better here for what a lot of people have as spring break. But yeah, for those of you watching here on Twitch for the first time or YouTube later, I'll just talk a little bit about how we do things. So I'll do a brief overview of the campaign so far. Then we'll do some character introductions, and then we'll have our characters recap the events of last session specifically. Then we'll get into some gameplay. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get started. So our adventure began in the city of Elturel, a holy city with a giant glowing orb over the city called the Companion, a second artificial sun. Our adventure started going on a mission for some leaders of Elturel, and on their way back to the city, the entire Companion grew dark, crackled with lightning, and the city vanished right before their eyes, leaving nothing left but a crater in the ground. They found a caravan of refugees and did a 10-day journey to the nearest city of Baldur's Gate, where they found that quite a few things were going on. The city was under lockdown because of the refugee crisis, but luckily some of our members had an in with the Flaming Fist, which sent them on a mission to investigate some murders that were happening in the city. A bunch of stuff went down. They had run-ins with cultists, cultists of the Dead Three, cultists of the Dragon. They ran into cultists of Zariel. A duke was murdered. Some characters died. Others did not. But eventually they found out about a big plot by one of the dukes of Baldur's Gate, Duke Thalamra Vanthampur, who was secretly a Zarielite and was involved with the murders that were happening in the city. Some stuff went down, and they confronted the Duke at her manor, but not before she burst into flames and told them that she would see them in hell. While in the manor, they did find, to their surprise, that Thavius Krieg, the High Observer of Elturel, had survived the cataclysm and was a prisoner of Duke Thalamra Vanthampur. They went back up after defeating Thalamra Vanthampur and reported to Commander Porter, who has taken over control of the Flaming Fist in Baldur's Gate. And Commander Porter told them basically to go to the Great Library of Candlekeep because they had found this curious box. And she believes that Candlekeep could hold the answer to finding out more information about what happened to Elturel. Thavius Krieg agreed to stay behind, and Fallister Fisk, one of the avowed of Candlekeep, agreed to accompany the party on their journey, their 5-day journey to Candlekeep. They went ahead on that journey to Candlekeep, and they came across an old friend along the way who had a curious fascination with the shield that Anarian was carrying. They were able to quickly dispatch that old friend who was a little bit hostile towards them. And that is where we ended, not at the end of last session, but the end of the session before. And we'll do a recap of specifically what happened last session in a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and get some character introductions going here. So, Igvis, if you want to tell the stream a little bit more about Igvis, what he's about.
Hello, I'm Manny. I play Igvis. Igvis is a winged tiefling, monk, and Gauntlet of the Flaming Fist. Currently, he's just trying to protect a fallen comrade's family, and is currently failing to do so, but doing what he can.
Perfect. And Anarian?
I'm Jonathan. I play Anarian, who's a Shattercry druid of the stars. He's been following the group around now for a couple of days. He found a magical shield that has a friend inside that he's trying his very best to become friends with and set free.
Perfect. And Dolakesh?
Sorry, push to talk. Character intro, right?
Character intro, yep.
Yeah. So Dolakesh was here way back in the start with Manny doing the initial mission, kind of keeping to himself, a little bit low key, lets Manny have the spotlight. Very curious in the going ons of these cults, but for his own reasons.
Great. And Raylan.
Raylan's a half-elf sorcerer. She just recently joined the party along with her companion F15T. She was sent by, at the time, Blaze Porter, now Commander Porter, to investigate the murder of her uncle, Duke Porter. And yeah, that's her.
Awesome. So those are some character introductions so that you know what's going on. So what I'd like to have the characters do here is everybody rolls a single d20, and whoever rolls the lowest on that d20 has the honor of recapping the events of last session from their character's perspective. So everybody can go ahead and roll. Dolakesh, you weren't here last session, so you don't have to worry about rolling. You got a 20 anyway, so it doesn't really matter there. But wow, a lot of high rolls there. All right, so we got Igvis, Dolakesh, Raylan, and Anarian. Anarian with the 12. So, Anarian, you will have the honor of recapping the events of last session from Anarian's perspective. So whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and take it away.
Well, so Anarian started the session by confining Vati up in a giant snake that he'd conjured and asking him some questions. He then invited him to join them on the way to Candlekeep so that they could learn more about the shield together. He got Vati to agree to that after I think Fist tried to beat him up a little bit more. We then went on the week-long trip to Candlekeep, all kind of trying to figure out what we were going to submit as our gifts of knowledge. During that time, Manny had the good idea of asking more questions about the shield and attuning to it and seeing visions. Each one of us then attuned to it and saw a specific vision. For everyone who attuned the night they slept, they had a dream and they've had a vision about something specifically in the Nine Hells, I'm guessing, And then we got to Candlekeep and we submitted our gifts of knowledge and everyone made it through except Fist. And I do not remember why Vati became evil and turned into something and exploded into flame, but he did. Sorry, my notes are bad, but I wrote down Vati exploded into flame. So that's all I remember.
Awesome. And I'll just also add there at the end that you all did end up making it to Candlekeep. And you were able to give your gifts of knowledge in order to enter Candlekeep, except for one of you, Fist, who did not successfully pass the scrutiny of the Avowed guarding the front gate, and was not able to walk through the front gates, though the rest of you were able to make it in. And that is where we left off at the end of last session. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump scenes here. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on this map here. I am also going to, let's see, I need to add Fallister Fisk here. Because a Fallister is with you. So you guys walk through those giant double doors of Candlekeep after giving your gifts of knowledge. As you enter, you are greeted by a couple of humans in long purple robes. And those humans immediately put up their hand, telling you to halt. And they say, Before you enter, of course, we must repeat the orders of accordance, and you must all agree to those orders. These are rules that you must abide by while here within Candlekeep. Number 1, no fighting. All arguments must follow the rules of cordial debate and discussion. Violent altercations are not tolerated. Also, no stealing. This rule applies to all objects in the keep, not just the library's work. And then, of course, there is no copying. Visitors are permitted to take notes while studying in the library's works, but anyone who wants to make a full copy of a work must pay to have the manuscript created by scribes at the house of the binder. And no damaging, marking, or otherwise modifying the works. This rule doesn't apply to privately owned books, scrolls, and other documents that aren't part of Candlekeep's collection. Do you all agree to abide by these orders of accordance?
Roll my eyes, sure.
I nod.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Great. And while you are here, all seekers who wish to peruse works can get the help of an avowed adjutant if they wish. Will you be needing such an avowed to help you? And as he says that, Fallister Fix will kind of chime in and say, well, there is no need. I will be there to guide these seekers on their journey. And the mage in the purple robes will say, very good, of course. Then be on your way, please, and enjoy the great library. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. As you are finishing up, behind you approaches another character, specifically approaching you, Raylan. From behind. And Roland, do you want to just describe what everybody sees as you approach?
As I approach, you see a red-looking human, 5'11", wearing a cloak on his right shoulder with a hood. You see he has a robe. You have seen better days. You have a little spot of dirt here and there and scratches over his armor, but looking all right.
Perfect. And what do you say as you approach?
Hi, I suppose you're Raylan, right?
I'm Raylan.
Some robot gave me that and say that I should give it to you. Oh, here it is.
And
As
you
I give
you
her-
will notice, Raylan, that what Roland is holding is this infernal puzzle box that you are familiar with, which you know was in Fist's possession.
I don't know really what it is, but he said it was important, so here it is.
Yes, thank you, and I'll take it. And I'll look at the others. And well, I guess we don't need to figure out how to get him in here now.
Kind of feel bad that we can't get him in here, but teach their own, I guess.
He'll be okay.
Right, perfect. And Fallister Fisk will say, well, with that, why don't I give you a quick tour of the Court of Air while I'm at it. So this, as you can see, as he beckons and moves his hand to showcase this wide open space, is the Court of Air. All seekers who come are allowed to hang out here in the Court of Air. Across the way, you will see the emerald doors. Those block off the Court of Air from the inner city here at Candlekeep, and only other avowed or the great readers are allowed through the emerald door, unless you have express permission from one of the great readers, which you need to have in writing. we will be going through those doors in order to meet with Sylvira Savikas, the great reader with whom I work with, but I must admit I do not have a writ of writing for the rest of you, so I will need to go grab that from Sylvira herself. So that will take me a moment to go through those doors and do that, but in the meantime, please feel free to peruse the court of air at your leisure, or do whatever you wish here. Just as a quick overview, if you come down here to the south, and he'll move down to this building down here. He'll say, this is the bath and steam house. Avowed and seekers alike use this building as a place to relax. There are spacious rooms in there that contain heated pools for respite, and many people engage in casual conversation or debates with others. There are also some side chambers that hold hot saunas and massage parlors. And then he moves down a little bit more, and he says, over here are the smithy and stables. A gold dwarf named Kiriel oversees the smithy, which adjoins the stables here, and Kiriel and his apprentices produce shoes for the horses and other mounts here, and the heat from the forge provides warmth when winter comes calling. The stable can accommodate a wide range of mounts and many exotic mounts. So here is where you can keep your horses for now, if you wish. Then he'll move over here. He'll say, this is the Temple of Agma. It's a modest stone temple dedicated to the god of knowledge, and its bronze bell, as he points up into the air at this large bronze bell that hangs from a steeple. The bronze bell announces the beginning of services, and we have 2 services a day that begin. The priest, a priest of Shao, the lore keeper Kai Tigersteel, runs the temple. And while he's not officially an avowed, he enjoys the privilege of entering the library as well, unaccompanied. And then he moves down here and he says, this is just a simple granary, not too much really to see here. And he moves on to this large building down below. And he says, this here is the House of Rest and the Hearth, the doors of which are down over this way. So this is basically an inn and tavern. The House of Rest is that 3-story bunkhouse over here, as he points to the building that is on the right if you're looking at the building to the left. And he says the House of Rest, there are a bunch of private rooms and common rooms for accommodation, and it can hold quite a number of guests, as there are many extra-dimensional spaces within there, so that you can each have your own room of accommodation. And the hearth, of course, is, a modest but sturdy tavern, and it's a place where people can gather and drink and be merry, of course. Just make sure you don't get into any bar fights, of course, because you did hear the rules there in the beginning. And then he'll move over to this other building on the side, and he'll say, here you'll find the House of the Binder. It was briefly mentioned when you entered, but here any seeker can request a copy of any book or any scroll in the library. So while you cannot actually take books from Candlekeep, you can make copies of any work for a modest fee, of course. So if there is anything you need transcribed, House of the Binder is a popular destination.
How long do they normally take?
In order to transcribe books, really depends on the work of art, of course. It could take anywhere from a day to multiple weeks, depending on the complexity.
Gotcha.
Over here, and as he goes all the way up to the northwest side of the court of air, he says, you will find the erudite outfitters and clothers. So if you're looking for new robes or just a little bit more fashion, there's a human acolyte of Gon named Feldmar who runs this outfitter. Very, very popular, especially amongst the nobles that visit Candlekeep. and then he'll move over here to the north. And he'll say, here you have the pillars of pedagogy. Seekers can engage in quiet study and research within this austere cluster of closely huddled flat-top towers. Each tower contains private rooms, available by reservation only, I might add, that feature permanent silence spells on them, allowing you to read without disturbance. A lot of the research that many of the Seekers do happens in this tower, so usually you will request a work from one of the avowed guides that you are given upon entry, and you will take those works here to the Pillar of Pedagogy, where you may study them as long as your heart desires, until you are ready to return them to the library's works and grab another work to peruse. He says, over here at the western side is the Emerald Door. Here at the Emerald Door is where I must bid you farewell, of course, just for a little bit. It'll only take me a couple hours, at most, in order to get to Sylvira and have her give her writ. That way you may enter, and we may bring you to meet the Great Reader. Do you have any questions for me before I leave you to it?
Can you inquire about being able to see the bookworm?
I can do that. Of course, bookworm is very hard to get an audience with, but I will put in a word there with Sylvira. I admit I don't really talk to the bookworm myself, much too high standing for one as me, but Sylvira should have some pull, and if you wish to speak with bookworm, she would probably be your best bet at being able to gain audience.
Please, because I'd like to give this book to him, and I'm pretty sure that myself and most likely Anarian are kind of curious as to what was so important about this.
Absolutely, I will do my best. I can't make any promises, though. Of course, that will be up to Sylvira herself, but I will certainly bring it to her attention.
Thank you.
Fallister, in your absence, if I wanted to peruse the library, I would need an acolyte then, right?
Correct. You would need an acolyte. You'll have a couple hours here, probably before I come back. Probably not too much time to be able to get an acolyte who will then go into the library. It can take them quite a long time, obviously, because of the extensiveness of the library's work to grab some tomes for you. But if we end up staying here a little bit longer, obviously, I can also grab works for you as well.
Okay.
But yes, to answer your question simply, you would need an acolyte in my absence to be able to peruse or grab works within the library. Are there any other questions that you have for me? All right. Well, if there are no more other questions, I shall bid you adieu, and I will come find you in a couple hours' time. And with that, Fallister Fisk, and I'll actually share a little picture here for you. This is what those emerald doors look like. He will go up to one of the gentlemen in the purple robe, share a couple words with him, and the gentleman in the purple robe will put his hand against the large green door, and it will kind of shimmer and fade, and Fallister Fisk will actually just walk through the barrier of the door before it solidifies back into what you see.
Well,
Do we know
What
where
to
we're
do?
going?
As far as I'm aware, we just have some time to ourselves. I think I'm gonna get some new robes while I'm here. And I'm gonna head up to the tailor.
Sounds good. How about everybody else? What would you like to be doing here during these this couple hours.
I think I'm gonna go over to the smithy, maybe.
All right. Sounds good. You can go to the
Follow
smith.
along with Manny. Got nothing to do in particular.
All right.
I'll follow
Marion
Raylan.
probably would follow Manny as well, talking with the shield the whole time.
Perfect.
Why does everybody keep calling me Manny? It's Ignis.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Ignis, sorry.
Yep, that was my bad. I started a trend.
And Roland, what would you like to be doing?
I'll follow Raylan.
Sounds good.
Maybe
As you're walking away, I might be like, "Who's this guy? Why is he following us?" You find out, Raylan, and then I'll walk away.
All right. So we'll start with you, Igvis, Dolakesh, and Anarian. So you go to the Erudite Outfitters up there in the north, and you open the door, and it's a very small establishment, maybe 10 feet by 10 feet in there, and you are met by a human. He's about 5'10". He has brown hair, brown eyes, but he has a rather extravagant robes on. They flare out in a purple, pink, and blue colors, and on his head he wears a cap that has a very large mohawk of feathers that kind of resemble that of a peacock. And he sees you as you walk in, and he greets you, and he says, My name is Feldmar Bisset the Third, as I might say, an expert teller and sericulture hobbyist. What can I do you for? Are you looking for a new robe, a new outfit?
I am. I'm looking for a bit more color than the blacks and purples I'm wearing. So anything you feel would be appropriate.
Oh, yes, my friend. The black that you wear is much too drab. Might I suggest a yellow? A yellow might go very well with your complexion. It might meld into the blueness of your skin and complement the greens that we might put in there as well.
Sounds good.
Very, very well. I love it. Do you prefer something longer below your knees? Maybe a little bit shorter above your waist? What kind of style would you say you are usually into?
Longer, definitely.
Longer, definitely. Great. And would you like Feldmar to take a little bit of, how shall we say, artistic license in what we put together for you? Or would you like to look through a catalog of maybe some of our previous purchasers and what we've put together for them?
Let's go take a look at your current catalog.
All right, great. And he will move towards the back of the store, and he'll pull out a very large, thick tome. And he will put it onto the counter, and he will open it up, and he'll start flipping through a bunch of different pages of his catalog. And there are all kinds of different gowns and robes and shirts and pants in there, depending on what you're looking for. And he most particularly will point you towards a lot of the different robe types. Very bright yellow colors, of course, some greens interspersed in there. He shows you, one example of where stripes kind of go along the robes like lightning, and then he points you to another robe where they have more of a polka dotted pattern, yellow with green polka dots. And then he shows you a couple different hats that he would recommend that would kind of go with some of those robe options, as he begins perusing through a dozen or so different outfit choices.
Full disclosure, I'm currently in Hero Forge, like messing with my robe, so feel free to continue.
Perfect. Yeah, so you can mess around with your robe in Hero Forge, and pretty much anything that you can think of as a design, he can create. He's a very excellent tailor, and he tells you that he can have something whipped up, in a couple hours for you.
Sounds good.
And how about the rest of you? You, my dragonborn friend, or you, my more. What are you exactly? Are you a Shatterkai?
I turn into a cat.
Quite a feline over there. That is quite intriguing. I guess you don't want an outfit, but if you do, I could probably make something for that small form as well. And my dragonborn friend, would you like anything created? As he looks towards you, Dolakesh.
Wish to talk.
Always the push to talk.
I think he sent a message in.
Oh, yeah, he said be right back. Okay, cool. So while we wait there for Dolakesh, we'll kind of come over here to the smithy and stables. Raylan and Roland as you go into there. So as you enter the smithy and stables, there is a dwarf in there in the smithy and stables, and it's a square room, the smithy and stables. And to the eastern side of that room is a door that leads to a more circular chamber, and in that circular chamber you find a lot of smith tools and a forge, etc. And coming out of that door from the forge, as you come in and the little bell rings at the front door, comes a dwarf who introduces himself as Kirill. And he says,
"My name is Kirill Hammerbind, and I oversee this smithy. What can I do you for? Are you looking to have some weapons forged, maybe some armor? Or are you looking more to have some accommodations for your mounts?"
Well, I'm looking for maybe some armor.
Some armor. All right. Well, what type of armor do you use there? I can make anything your heart desires.
Well, I just need maybe some scale mail. A little bit more protection than these caster robes I have on.
I see. Yes, scale mail I can most certainly do. Would you like any
flair added to your scale mail. And you see as he says the word flair, he kind of like almost chokes on his words a little bit. And you can tell he seems maybe a little bit disgusted almost with the fact that he's using those words.
He says, at least that's how Feldmar would say it. But I can just make you something simple and sturdy. Without all of the extra fluff.
I think simple would just be best. You have artistic license. Just so long as it'll come with a belt for me to hang things on. I'm pretty good.
And he gets a little bit of a smile and he chuckles a little bit as you say that. And he says,
"Splendid! Great minds think alike. I think simple and sturdy would be the way to go. And would you like it to be magically enhanced in nature? It will come at an extra cost for me to do that for you, but it can be done."
Well, what are we talking cost-wise?
Well, it depends on how potent you would like that magical enhancement to be. If you would like the base magical enchantment, it would cost you somewhere in the realm of 250 gold pieces.
And what about just the armor? without all that.
For just the armor, I would say, as the DM loads, some prices of armor. He'll basically give you 80% of what scale mail normally costs as a selling price. So he'll say, for 40 gold pieces, you can have the base, just a base set of scale mail.
Let's do that.
Splendid. I will get right to work right away. And what name can I have for the order?
It is Raylan.
Raylan. Perfect, Raylan. It'll take me about a day in order to make this armor.
Excellent.
Come back same time tomorrow, and it shall be done.
Now, should I give you half now? Half upon delivery?
No need, no need. I trust you here, of course. Plus, we have many eyes here within Candlekeep. If you were to leave without payment, of course, I would know.
I understand.
And how about you, good sir over there? Are you looking for anything in particular?
Can you repair what I already have?
Absolutely, and I would be happy to repair what you currently have on the house.
Oh, thank you. So I give you my skill mail.
Sounds good. And so he'll take your scale mail, and he will bid you adieu unless there is anything else you'd like to peruse within his wares. And essentially, amongst his wares, he has every weapon or armor that you could think of.
Oh, I'm good. I just want to repair my skill mail.
All right, perfect. All right, cool. And so he will bid you both adieu as he goes back to his forge, and you see him pull these goggles over his face, and he puts on these very thick leather gloves as he goes back to the work and stokes the fire of the forge.
I'll turn while we're still standing there and I didn't catch your name.
Yeah.
To
I'm Roland Greenwood. Greenwood.
so the robot F15T, did he say anything to you other than it was important that you got me this box? Did he seem okay? He doesn't generally like to be separated from me.
He seemed fine. Apart describing you nothing too fancy. Just give me that box and say that I should give it to a woman, redhead.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it to me.
But what it is exactly?
Well, that's kind of what we're here to find out. We know it's magical, and we know it's very dangerous.
Sounds fun.
Which I'm probably sure he didn't tell you.
No, not really.
And I'll start walking back over towards where everybody else went, to the tailor.
Sounds good. And so you will be able to get back to where everybody else is, and this hasn't taken you long to visit these two shops and to request the items that you need. And as you get back, you still see Igvis scrolling through a couple books, and then he kind of gets up after making some selections and seems to be getting measured by the tailor over there.
Hey, Raylan, what are you doing?
Getting some armor made. That individual, his name is Roland.
Rolling.
I don't know if you, yeah, Roland Greenwood, I think he said.
Did he say what he wants?
No, I think Fist just grabbed whoever the next person was and asked him to make sure that box got to us. I don't know if you guys want to invite him over and maybe find out what they're here for.
Anarian's already walked over and is rubbing against his leg as a cat.
I don't like coincidences.
Are you?
The more he knows, the more danger he's in, don't you think?
I'm gonna like kind of gesture a palm out to Roland to like kind of get him to come over. Join us if you would. What is it you are here for? Obviously, you made your delivery, but now what?
Like everyone here, I'm here for knowledge. Yeah, knowledge. I've been falsely accused of something. I want to find out more about it. Yeah.
Library is a strange place to find vindication, but more power to you, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, the vagueness doesn't spark much confidence, but who are we to judge?
You have to forgive my friends here. We all haven't had the best luck with people, especially new people. So we're a little wary of those who just kind of show up.
I understand.
Where are you
Myself,
from?
Baldur's Gate, actually.
Really, are you with the Watch, the Flaming Fist, anything like that?
No. I'm more like a cleric. Someone wandering around, helping others.
Your accusers wouldn't happen to be the Flaming Fists, would they?
No.
Oh, lucky you. I'm gonna wink at Agnes.
I'm not on the clock anyway.
Indeed.
Look, if you want to hang around us, that's fine, but just be aware that people have a tendency to die if they're not careful around us, so at your own risk.
I've handled that before.
So
While
we're...
we wait-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, while we wait, the only other place here really that I'd want to spend any time in is the tavern, so we can wait there, or in case somebody else has something else they would wish to do.
Igvis, I knew I liked you for a reason.
What? I don't drink. You guys can all drink. I'll just be there.
This is the first time for everything. I'm gonna start walking out.
Sounds good. So you all go down to the tavern. I'm just going to change the scene here real quick. Think I got you all on there. As you enter there, you should all be able to see that, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So as you enter those doors there to the south, you come across a desk there, and sitting behind the desk, Minnie is not there on screen, but is an acolyte in purple robes, and greets you and says, "Hello there. My name is Ronald, and
I greet you with warm greetings here at the House of Rest and Hearth. What can I do you for? Are you looking for rooms, or are you looking for our tavern?
Tavern for now, rooms possibly later.
Splendid. If you would like rooms in the future, you can come back here and you can speak with me at the desk, and I'd be happy to guide you to those accommodations. Otherwise, if you just look to your right, so he'll point to his left, your right, as you're looking to the east side of the map, you'll say, those two double doors there will lead you to the tavern. Feel free to enter and hang out as you wish.
Thanks. Already walking away.
Sounds good. So you go ahead and you enter the hearth over here, and first thing you noticed is that it is incredibly large. So much so that actually you realize it's much, much larger than what it should be from the outside. So you're not sure what exact magic is at work here, but something is at work, considering it shouldn't be possible for it to be this large. But you see a variety of tables across the floor, and at each of those tables are many, many patrons, actually, in fact, of all varying races and sizes. And then at the far northeast corner is a bar that takes up approximately 40 square feet of the room. But yeah, there are tables there that are open that you'll be able to just sit down and enjoy, and you can order drinks from the bar as well.
Dalkesh, go. He's just running across the room.
I always keep forgetting about my push to talk. Yeah, no, I'm going to the bar.
Sounds good. You're able to do that. And as you get up there, there is an elf, it looks like, and she has a golden band across her forehead, and her face looks a little like it has seen the wear and tear of time. And she greets you and says, hello and welcome. My name is Meredith here at the Hearth. What can I interest you in?
Well, Matt, 4 ales should be fine.
4 ales. Do you prefer a darker brew, a lighter brew?
I don't know. Pick your favorite.
All right, darker it is. And she will walk back behind the counter, and she'll grab a couple supplies. Then she'll reach underneath the counter, pull out some mugs for you, and begin pouring. And she will put them in front of you and say, that'll be a total of 1 gold piece.
I'll just nod and leave a gold piece on the table, slide one over to Raylan next to me, and hoist up another one in a little cheers and take the others back to the group.
Perfect. And how about you as well, my pointy-eared friend?
I'll take the same. 4 more ales and some milk.
Oh, perfect. And darker brew as well for you, or?
Surprise me.
She'll say, darker brew it is. And she will do the same thing. She grabs supplies, reaches underneath, and pours you some ale and requests the 1 gold piece from you.
And I'll put the gold piece on the counter. Do you have a something I can carry all these with?
Yes, of course. And she'll bring out like a little platform that has some circular indents in them that the mugs just fit perfectly. That way it's a little bit easier for you to carry.
All right, now grab it and head back to the table.
Perfect.
Did Valister say how long he's gonna be?
A couple hours.
Ugh. Sick of waiting.
I have an outfit being made. I don't know about you.
And
I'm sure you'll be glowing.
You'll see.
And as you are all sitting there, an individual approaches you. DM loading pictures.
Is Anarian still cat form?
Yep, I'm still a cat.
You're down on the floor?
No, I'm on Roland's shoulder.
All right, I'll put the bowl of milk down for you.
I jump down off the counter and start drinking it. Purring.
An individual will approach you, Raylan, and will tap you on the shoulder.
I'll turn around.
And as you
No.
turn around, it's a human individual with shorter brown hair, wearing blue robes, and he looks at you and quite softly says, "I hear that you have something. Something for Bookworm."
I do.
He says, "I am a messenger, someone that will be able to take that off your hands."
I would prefer to give it directly to Bookworm.
Yes, I understand. But he is quite busy, obviously, as the first reader, and sent me in his stead.
Can I insight this? Am I in visual and
Oh yeah, you can all see this, so feel free to roll insight if you'd like.
I think I will too.
I will too. Sorry.
yeah, really? All good.
So, Raylan, you notice that he seems, and you too, Roland, and you, Igvis, all of you, besides you, Dolakesh, but the other three of you there notice that he seems incredibly nervous for some reason. You're not sure why, but unusually nervous.
Despite my, I was gonna say this without the insight check anyway, if you would allow me, but essentially I was gonna just chime in with asked and answered friend and kind of like look him in the eyes.
Say that again. You say what exactly?
So essentially, he was just like, Raylan was like, "Oh, I'd rather do it myself." And he's like, "No, I insist." And I'm just gonna kind of lean in and say, "Asked and answered, friend."
All right. Roll me an intimidate. And he will see you as you kind of lean in, and he will just kind of bow, and he'll say, "Very well, I understand. I will inform Bookworm of your answer."
Listen, it's nothing against you. It's just, I don't know you. We don't know you.
Understood. And he will walk out.
Do you know where to beat this bookworm? We probably should have asked.
Yeah, we probably should have. Am I like a weirdo magnet? Like, what's going on here?
A lot of weird things happening lately. Don't take it personally.
I think you're popular.
The last person I talked to literally erupted in flames. I don't know if you're the weirdo magnet.
Anarian puts a paw on your shoulder.
I'll pat Anarian's head. I know, buddy.
As you are sitting there and you're talking amongst yourselves, after a little while, the music starts to play from a band that has gathered on the eastern side of the room, and a bunch of the tables in the center are kind of cleared away to make room for a makeshift dance floor almost. And you see that the music gets loud, it gets exciting and upbeat, and a bunch of people end up linking arms and they all start dancing in the center. There are a couple other people at nearby tables who get up, and a couple individuals kind of come up to your table and kind of goad you a little bit to come join them.
Oh no, I don't budge.
I'll go.
All right, as Igvis goes, anybody else go dance?
No.
Oh no, I'm staying with Dolakesh. I have the box and other stuff. Nope.
Anarian walks over in the middle of the floor and kind of stands up on his little hind kitty legs and does a little cat dance.
Ugh.
Nice. Yeah, so a bunch of people are there on the floor, and they are all dancing. As they dance, give me like a little bit of an acrobatics check, Igvis, or anybody that is dancing there.
Thank God you asked acrobatics and not performance.
You can give me acrobatics or performance, your choice, but acrobatics, I know you probably choose Igvis.
100.
He's out there doing one of those like Buddhist monk dances that look like martial arts mixed with dancing.
Yeah, 23, 21. So Anarian, Igvis, you link arms in this circle with everybody else, and they're doing a series of high kicks back and forth. And they're shouting, "Wah! Yeah!" as they cheer, and then they kind of push you towards the center of the circle as they're all clapping their hands individually and beckon you to do some sort of dance or display. And both of you with your roles really wow the crowd. Both of you can give yourselves advantage on any skill checks for the next 24 hours.
Nice.
Jeez. All right.
But they continue to dance in their circle, and then eventually the music dies down to maybe some slight background music, and they start to move the tables back in order. And you see a lot of them coming over and patting you on the back and hanging on your shoulders and congratulating you and telling you how awesome that was, your dance, as you have now made a few new friends.
You have a slow clap as you walk back.
As I go back, you see me like smiling for a little bit before I'm just like, back to Earth, and then I just sit down.
I never knew you had it in you, really.
You gotta get let loose every once in a while, and since I don't drink, movement's basically all I got.
I'll call it an R I got as I chug my ale.
And what is your intention here at the tavern? Do you spend basically, is your intention to stay here until Fallister comes back, knowing he's going to take a few hours only? Or would your intention be to go from here somewhere else in the meantime?
So for me, I would only go back to the tailor to see if the outfit is ready. But other than that, I'd probably wait here.
Yeah,
Sound-
I'd wait here too.
Perfect. So you absolutely can do that. And Igvis, your outfit will end up being ready in the meantime. So you kind of take a brief recess to go grab your outfit, come back, get changed if that is what you would like to do, or just pack it away to get changed later.
I'll get changed.
Perfect.
They are the new
In the-
super robes anyway.
In the hours probably that are passing, I'm not going to be like drinking the whole time, so I'd probably find some time away in the tavern to kind of just meditate, think to my things that I've been hearing in my dreams and stuff, and like what goals that I should pursue, these kinds of things.
Perfect.
At some point, I will have ordered food, in case everybody was hungry.
Cool. And you're able to do that?
And I will pray for like 15 minutes.
Awesome. After a while, your friend, Ballister Fix, walks through the door. I knew I would probably find you here. I love the new outfit, Igvis. It suits you.
Thanks, Alistair.
So I was able to attain that writ that you asked for, and of course I passed on your request to Raylan as well. Sylvira said that Bookworm is probably not to be disturbed at the moment, but I am sorry for that news, but I did bring it up with her, and if you wish to talk to her about it, you can obviously do that yourself, since you are going to be meeting her very soon.
I'll do that. We actually had a very nervous fellow who came saying that they were as messenger for the bookworm, but with our track record, I insisted that I pass it on to bookworm myself.
Do you have a description of this fellow?
Short brown hair, I think it was.
He was a nervous wreck, twitchy, and made me nervous just looking at him.
I'm quite curious, as Bookworm would not employ such messengers. He doesn't really send lowborn messages out just into the court of air to converse with people. The only people he really converses with are the other great readers. So I find that curious indeed, because that does not make much sense to me. Probably something that we should report to one of the other archmages.
Who else would know of your intentions, Raylan?
Nobody, other than the person who gave us the book, I would imagine. Maybe I don't remember. Anarian, do you remember if I mentioned it? We were trying to get in. I don't think I did.
No.
I turned back into an Aryan. Oh, I don't think we mentioned that to anyone.
Yeah, no, just the person who gave it to us and you, Fisk.
Interesting. Nonetheless, I think reporting to the archmages so they can keep an eye out for the description of this individual would be prudent.
I'm glad I didn't give it to him.
Yes, indeed. Well, if you wouldn't like to do anything else at the moment, I think we best be off. To go meet Sylvira. As we can see what the deal is with this curious box of yours.
Lead the way.
And he will move to go back out the front doors. So you go out the doors, and he leads you over to the Emerald Door. which I'll just put up as a reminder of what it looks like. He goes to the purple avowed standing before it, and he shows a scroll that the avowed takes from him and peruses very intently for a couple minutes. He rolls back up the scroll, hands it to Fallister, and says, "All right, Fallister, you may pass with the individuals mentioned." And once again, he puts his hand on the door, which shimmers, and Fallister says, "Well, let's walk through." And he walks through the door.
I follow.
Follow him through.
Perfect.
I don't know if it'll make a difference, but I'll keep an special eye out for this freaking weirdo that came up to us if I see him following us or in a window or anything like that.
Perfect.
And Arian goes through.
I'll follow too.
Awesome. And as you go through, I'm going to move you guys over here.
Wow, that's quite the map.
Yep. So as you kind of look at this map and you can kind of get a sense of the scale there, and we're not going to move throughout the whole map, but just wanted to give you kind of a picture of it so you could see. And I'll zoom out here for the stream. So as you enter through that door, it spits you out here in an open courtyard with stairs that are on your right. And those stairs lead up to an upper platform surrounded by an inner wall. And on that, within that is a very large castle with multiple spires that spring up. And along the way, as you look down, you see a sprawling city below. Many different shaped buildings made of various material, and Fallister Fisk will kind of walk you through and explain as you're going through there that this is where the Avowed live, and that the Avowed spend most of their time here in the inner ward, and here they have everything from homes to schools to places where the Avowed can do their own works and their own study and own writings and create their own works as scholars of themselves. All amongst the various bridges, they have buildings that have been standing for a millennia, made of various types of material. In fact, they have a building made of pure dragon bone, he tells you, from a red dragon that had tried to conquer the area long ago, but that the great sages were able to fight back. And he kind of just gives you a history of the location and the buildings as you walk through. But he directs you mainly to that very large main keep. There we go. And so he'll bring you to that very large main keep. And as you enter the keep, you immediately are in the middle of what looks like a gigantic great hall, the ceiling 100 feet high at least, and even greater in either direction, width and length. And there are bookcases that align the entire wall and all through the center, all the way up to the ceiling above. And you see these glowing floating discs and translucent hands, gigantic hands that seem to catapult from bookshelf to bookshelf as books are floated onto them and then gradually down to other purple robed acolytes in the area who grab them and then transport them to wherever their final destination might be. And Fauster Fisk will look at you and say, "This is the great library, the great hall, one of many great halls here within the main keep. Here is where the avowed do their work, the primary bulk of their work, as they grab some tomes and they bring them back out for seekers to read, or to their own homes here within the inner ward." To do a lot of their own research. Of course, we're not going to spend too much time here. We're going to take this larger staircase to our left as the great readers make their own home in the upper spires of the tower. And he'll direct you to a very large staircase as you go along. And the staircase kind of winds in this spiral motion. And then there's a walkway that crosses over that great library area above that you can kind of look down and see everything going on as you cross over to the next section. And then another spiral staircase that he takes up all the way to the top. And he says, "This is the spire of great reader Sylvira Savikas. Right at the top of this, we will make it to her laboratory."
Why it took so long? Took you an hour and a half to walk up here?
Right, exactly. As you can tell, the inner ward is quite large, and that combined with Sylvira Savikas's many meetings that she has in duties, it is difficult to gain an audience with her. But he will lead you up that spire all the way to the top, and when you get to the top, that big spiral staircase culminates in a smaller wooden staircase that eventually leads up into a smaller room, which I am going to move you all to now.
He's really getting his steps in today.
All right.
Gotta get 10,000.
All right. So you, let me change the stream here. Okay, you should all be able to see that now. He leads you up into this room. And the walls of this circular chamber that you see are punctuated by arched windows that are currently shuttered. Bookcases filled with eldritch volumes stand between the windows, while tables are crowded with specimen jars, alchemical equipment, and other clutter. Engraved into the floor underneath a large table is a giant 9-pointed star. A younger to middle-aged tiefling stands behind the desk in the west, dressed in wizardly robes, and is caught in a fugue of intense contemplation. Perched on top of the desk is a spindly little demon with warty green skin, buggy eyes, thin black horns, and a whip-like tail. And she kind of shudders a little bit as she wakes up from her deep contemplation and looks at the rest of you and says, you must be those that Fallister mentioned. What exactly can I do you for?
We have this box.
Yes, a very important box, I was told.
Please, bring it here. Let me have a look at it.
So I'll walk over and I'll set it down on the desk.
And it seems this is an infernal puzzle box that you have here. Please tell me more about how you came upon this.
Well, you see, we had this friend and he killed this guy and then he brought him back and he was a duke or something, or the son of a duke, and he wanted us to kill his mother, and then he told us he'd give us this box if we did it, but we didn't do it, but we ended up with a box anyway.
I see. Well, boxes like these are very rare indeed, and made in the Nine Hells themselves, and usually they are guarded by powerful magic in which devils try to guard very powerful or important secrets. Usually devilish contracts are what are contained within these types of boxes, and bears who mess with these boxes can often be overcome if they fail to open it or use the right combination by curses, or even having their very souls bound to powerful devils and demons indeed. So it is very good that you brought this to me before trying to mess with it yourselves.
Can you help us open it safely?
I am very knowledgeable on many things. I believe that with a little bit of prodding, and she'll kind of glance over it as you see her take her longer nails and rub them along the sides of the box and its many grooves and arcane ruins that protrude from it. And she says, yes, I believe that I can. I believe that I would be able to open this. But the question is, are you ready to see what lies within?
I'll turn around and I'll look at
Arian's
everybody
gonna
else.
look right. Do we know? Why do we want to know what's in the box?
And Sylvira will kind of sit there and look at all of you as if waiting for one of you to answer.
Well, think about it. Basically, the entire Vantham Per line was tied with Zariel, and one of them was incredibly interested in this box. It must have something to do with her, don't you think?
The activities of the cult are directly linked to the events of El Terrell.
And as you mention Elturel specifically and Zariel, Sylvira's interest peaks a little bit. And she says, Zariel, you say, the Archduchess of Avernus, and Elturel. I have been interested in Elturel for quite some time. There have been many other disappearances from various cities across Faerun, and this Elturel is the first here along the Sword Coast, as it seems to be creeping more and more westward, this plague, and I have long suspected something of an insidious nature going on with Elturel, as it is too perfect of a city and situation to exist. This companion that hung over the city is curious indeed, coming out of nowhere, seemingly after the city was plagued by an undead scourge of vampires long ago. It is curious indeed. If this has anything to do with that, I would myself be most intrigued to see what is inside.
Well, then, do your magic, eh?
She will say, all right, I recommend you take those steps back.
Before we do this, just as an aside, and just in case, Fisk did bring up our request about the bookworm.
Yes, Fallister did bring that up. May I see this book that you have for Bookworm himself?
Sure. And I'll reach in my robes and I'll pull it out and I'll hold it out and explain to her. This was given to us by a very shady individual in a tavern and asked that we give it directly to the bookworm and that only the bookworm is to open it and read it. And then while we were in the tavern here, we had another shady individual come up saying that he was a messenger for the bookworm and that he was sent to retrieve the item that we had. I think it's very important that I give this to the bookworm directly.
And as you pull out the book, immediately her face, she kind of moves the puzzle box over to the side, but her face gets very serious and says, "A deep and creeping darkness, you said who gave you this book? I recognize it."
I don't even remember the name. They seemed very intent that we bring it. We asked why they didn't bring it themselves. They said they've been here before and had no desire to come back.
Says, drop it on the desk right now.
And I
You
will.
called him Bran, right?
That's right. Bran. He said his name was Bran.
She says this book is powerfully cursed in nature and went missing from our archives a few years ago. A thief stole it from our archives and was able to bypass the magical wards guarding Candlekeep. A very large event indeed that not many know about. We have, us as the great readers, and have been looking for this for quite some time. For those who would open and read the book would be beset by a powerful curse that would trap them in a demiplane of existence, to forever recur a dark and tragic story that they will live out for the rest of their days. To give this to the bookworm, I am not sure what dark deeds this individual you encountered had in mind, but no less some sort of assassination attempt, I would believe. Or if it has been tampered with in any other way, who knows how the magic could have been perverted of this book even more.
Well, then I'm glad we didn't open it.
Wait, so hang on, pardon me, but this is basically a trap. Who made this book, and why was it in the possession of Candlekeep?
This is one of the many mysteries of Candlekeep, as not all of our works have been fully studied. We do not quite understand where some of our works come from, but some of them, which we know to contain powerful magic, we bind away for only the most powerful of us to peruse and ensure that they can be safely transferred to the main collection. This would be one of those books that are so ancient that it predates many of us here in amongst the great readers.
So I'm guessing somebody at some point while it was here did open it and read it, if you know what it does.
Well, we do know that there were a few acolytes who mysteriously went missing, trying to read this book, and that is why we have bound it away. And through our lore and research and magical divinations, we have been able to ascertain what it will do to those individuals, and the individuals who have gone missing have never been recovered, but we have not yet been able to find a way to bypass the curse that has been set upon the book. Now that you have returned it to us, it will certainly go back into the deep archives of Candlekeep, indeed, for further study.
I would also suggest with more security.
She'll kind of raise an eyebrow to you and say, "Yes, indeed, the holes in our security since this incident have been mended."
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad it is back where it belongs then.
And so she will actually use Mage Hand in order to grab the book and wrap it up, and she will secure it in a clock tower behind us as she opens up the bottom of the clock tower with the Mage Hand and inserts it inside and then closes it, locking it with a small key.
Should I be worried that I've been touching that with my bare hands?
Well, as long as you did not open it and read it, you should be fine.
I did not.
Very good, very good.
Oh, and great reader. Since we're also going to be opening this infernal box, in case it is something dangerous and we do have to break your first rule to contain it, do we have your permission to do so?
She says, my knowledge is very extensive, but as you mentioned, there is a risk that things could go sideways. In the event that something does, I do not know what those consequences could be. We could all turn immediately into a pile of ash. Our souls could be bound to a great demon. We all may be turned into horrible, monstrous creatures. Yes, if something should go terribly awry, I would not recommend taking it on just yourselves if you survive. I would make sure that you get the help of other avowed so that it can be contained, and lock me within this vault or anybody else who may be tainted in order to ensure that we cannot escape. Quarantine us, as one might say.
I'll back way the hell up.
Before we open the box, I have one thing too. No one mentioned this, but I have this shield, and I think there's someone trapped inside it. It gave us all weird dreams of a tower and a bunch of weird stuff. Anyway, you know how to get the celestial lord, the hidden one, out? My shield here.
And as you mention that, Anarian, her eyes laser focus on the shield, and Yun says, "What? That shield? Where did you get that? That is a rare item indeed. I have only heard about this in stories, but never seen it with my own eyes."
We found it under the Duke's house, the same one that we, kind of accidentally killed and then brought back, or their son, and that was where the mother was, and she got sent to hell too.
The shield is a symbol of good's triumph over evil. Gazing at such beauty, one can easily overlook the terrible force bound within it. Gargoth is, I believe, its name, though it calls itself the Hidden Lord. It was, some say, a pit fiend sent by Asmodeus to corrupt mortals. Of all realms, some say that it ruled Avernus itself at one given point in time, but it amassed such a following within the hells as to rival that of gods. In that way, Gargoth became sort of a demigod, and having worshippers increased its power exponentially. How the mighty have fallen. The shield has the power to corrupt everything around it. I am not sure how it made its way to the material plane, but nonetheless, it should not be taken anywhere where thousands of mortals reside. It needs to be locked away in an extra-dimensional no space, away from corruptible souls. And as she says that, the shield, you feel it hum and vibrate with energy, Anarian. And it pulsates in a visible magic as purple waves of energy come out, directing themselves at Sylvira. Anybody can make me an Arcana check here.
I'm like, Gargoth, don't be mean to Sylvira. She's just telling the truth.
Maybe.
So, Dolakesh, you're the only one who recognizes it, but, and I will actually just, since that is the role, I'm just going to private message you here.
The dice know, man. Okay. At one point, though, Dolakesh is going to have to sit down with his party about just like whipping out our secrets to every person we meet.
So the shield, this wave of purple energy comes out and comes straight towards Sylvira. Sylvira, very quickly, in a wave of her hand, is able to conjure a blue ball of energy as she surrounds this purple burst within this blue ball, and she tries very hard, as you can see, her face squinting as the blue ball condenses and winks that purple energy out of existence. Sweat coming down from her brow.
Oh, I'm so sorry. He told me he was a celestial. I thought he was a good guy.
And this is very powerful. Indeed, it is. And in your mind, Anarian, kind of all the other sounds of the room are muted as you hear Sylvira's voice talking, and the rest of you hear Sylvira just explaining a little bit more about how evil and dangerous the shield is, and how it really should be contained somewhere else. But in your mind, Anarian, all of the sound of the room is muted, and you hear that voice in your head that you've heard so many times before. And I'm going to take a quick second to send you something.
As she's just spouting off, I'm like, I knew it couldn't have been nice considering the visions and nightmares of Avernus and Zariel I kept getting.
Okay, so I sent you something there, Manarian. As you hear that in your head. And otherwise, Sylvira is saying, yes, the danger of this shield cannot be overstated. It is probably best with us, but I will leave that for all of you to decide.
Narian, do you like having nightmares every day?
And Anarian kind of is not paying attention. He's like, what?
I'll just like tap on the shoulder. You okay there?
I don't know what to do.
Anarian, whatever that thing is, it just tried to take control. It's got a mind and a will of its own. I don't think you can trust it.
Yeah, I know. I don't think we can trust it, but
I'm gonna look to the lady behind the desk. What was her name again? Sorry.
Sylvira.
I'm gonna look to Sylvira and be like, is there a way we could seal it away but keep it under our control?
And Arian's like, I don't want it sealed away. I want the soul to be returned.
Do you have like a bag of holding or something so we can at least separate it from ourselves?
What if it decides to do that to you next, Anarian?
I've been talking to him for probably 10 days now, and he hasn't tried to take over anything with me. He just gives us weird dreams. I think he probably needs to be sealed away, and someone needs to study this more. But I don't want to leave him forever.
I would rather keep it under our control, like I said. But if we can keep it from taking control of us, that would be ideal.
I don't think he has the power to do that.
He nearly just did.
Sylvira, let me ask again. Do you have anything that we could, let's say, like a bag of holding, that we can at least separate it into its own demi-plane?
Well, here at Candlekeep, we would have the means in order to do that. If you leave the shield with us, we, as the great readers, will be able to send it to its own mini demi-plane of existence where it can spend all of eternity in a dark, endless void where it can't hurt anyone, ever.
Can I do a quick insight on her?
Yeah, go ahead and roll insight.
While he's doing that, I'm going to respond to her with, I would still like to keep it within our possession.
I forgot I had advantage, so 21.
Yeah, you don't. She hasn't said anything or doesn't have any mannerisms that would make you think that she is deceiving you in any way. You think she's pretty sincere in what she says. And I mean, she also will also turn to you and say, well, if you wish to keep it within your possession, I don't recommend going anywhere that is highly populated. And in fact, that would be very unwise, as just being around the shield can corrupt the souls of those who are around it, cause great catastrophes to occur. But if you insist, as you have found the shield, I leave it up to you what you wish to do with it, but I would recommend, if you do choose to keep it in your possession, that
You tread very lightly and carefully indeed.
Is there a reader here that specializes in this stuff? Or is that you?
That would be me. I specialize in the planes and more specifically with a focus in the Nine Hells. I would be most adept to be able to handle this shield, if you would choose to turn it over.
What got it upset again? It flared up as soon as somebody said something.
His name.
Basically, she said she mentioned that it should be locked away into a demiplane where it can't hurt anyone. And when she said that is when it flared up.
He doesn't want to be locked away forever.
Who would, to be fair?
It doesn't make him a good person.
No, but taking something that's trapped forever in torment forever isn't a very nice thing to do.
Have you considered how it got there in the first place? You don't just end up locked away in a shield by being a good person.
I think they both should be destroyed so his soul can return to the great cycle.
Do you know how to destroy something like this?
Well, no. But this is the center of all knowledge in the world.
And they propose locking it away. And again, I don't want to do that either. I'd rather keep it, but we need to be able to control it.
I never had any intention of controlling it. I just wanted to set it free and let it pass on.
But if it is what they say it is, which it seems like so, letting it return to the Great Cycle is probably not in anybody's best interest, to be honest.
Would you be willing to give me some time with the shield? You say it talks to you, right?
Yeah, we did that over the week. It talked to all of us.
Okay. And
It also gave us all nightmares.
oh, great.
Different nightmares.
And I explicitly said we're not giving it to you because I know how you are.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I take it to have it locked away?
Right, if you simply hand it over to me, I can take care of that for you. I and the other great readers will do what we need to do in order to create the prison for it.
Do we need to do that now, or are we going to do the box now? Because we're throwing a lot of stuff at you right now.
I will take the shield now, and I will lock it away for the moment to be dealt with later.
And she'll reach out her hand towards you, Anarian,
If that is what you wish.
Will you make an attempt to figure out a way to or
An attempt to what?
I no longer serve the Raven Queen, but if I leave a soul trapped outside of the cycle, it's not going to make her happy.
We will not release the soul that would defeat the purpose of locking it away. Unfortunately, if we take it and imprison it, we will imprison it for all eternity, for the betterment of everyone else around it.
Would you imprison it in the Shadowfell and let the goddess handle it?
I do not think that it would be wise to send it to any other plane of existence besides its own prison. For there, who knows whose hands it could fall into or where it might go.
Igvis, I don't know what to do.
Do you want to give it to me? Take the decision
I
out of
don't-
your hands?
I don't mind holding the shield. That doesn't bother me, but
I think the need of this one soul is not outweighed by the need of everybody else around it. I think you got to give up on this one.
Or just leave it with me.
Nope.
it wants. It's so sad.
I wonder how sad a demon could actually be. I assume pretty sad, to be fair.
If anyone's gonna fall, this is kind of whispering to Igvis, but if anyone's gonna fall for this sad story, it's gonna be an Aryan.
But we can't fight here, so I can't try and take the shield from him. It has to be him who does it.
Okay, I'm coming back in 100 years, and we're going to deal with this then. How does that sound?
Do you mean you're going to leave it here for 100 years and deal with it then? Or
Yeah.
bring it back in 100 years?
No, I'll leave it here for 100 years. That seems like a good enough time to leave him locked up.
You'll need another gift of learning. I'm sure you'll get something in 100 years.
And that's even if they'll let you do anything with it then. The way it sounds, they'll take it forever. And that'll be the end of it.
Will you write me one of those nifty little scrolls that says we're going to readdress this in 100 years? Great reader.
Address in 100 years, you say? Ah. Well, this is not a decision I can make on my own. I would have to consult the other great readers, of course, and I cannot promise what they will or will not agree to. If you hand over the shield into our service, we shall make the decision on its ultimate fate, though we will, of course, take your advice into account, and maybe in the future it is possible that that minds change. I also sent you something there, Private and Aryan.
I know. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. That roll privately.
Yep.
You would have to make sure to change it also in D&D Beyond, because we can see it there.
Oh, I don't know how to do that in D&D Beyond, so.
Okay. I sent you something else. Um,
And he's like, well, guys, I don't think these two items should be in the same room with each other, so I'm going to let her take it for now. And once we get the box sorted, we'll talk about it more.
Sounds
Will
good to
you
me.
store it away?
and she will take it from you if you hand it to her.
I hand it to her. But it's just on loan until we're done with this box. And he points at her.
All right, all right. Let us secure this.
And she'll walk over to this golden chest over here in the north, and she will mutter some arcane symbols and open its lid, and will float the shield into the chest and then put the lid down as a black magic kind of surrounds the box and locks it into place and secures the lid. And then she comes back over here and says,
Very well. With that out of the way, I suppose we should open this box.
All right, I'm going to go on the other side of the room now. Bye.
I'll back up, but not too far away.
all right, perfect. As you back up, she takes the box and she mutters a couple incantations as an orange stream of magic with runes that kind of float translucently in the air surround the box. She turns over to her little imp friend here on the table and says,
Yeah, Jezebel, grab me the vial of black liquid there on the top shelf.
and the little creature goes and moves over to the shelf and grabs a vial of liquid and then jumps down to give it back to Sylvira. And Sylvira takes her other hand as her left hand manipulates the box with her magic. Her right hand takes the vial and pours it onto the top of the box. And the liquid seeps into the crevices of the box, into its many maze-like troughs that are carved into the surface. And using her magic, she kind of tips the box over as the liquid flows throughout a very a specific direction. And as she does that across all 6 faces, which takes her a couple minutes worth of work, the box itself glows in a radiant red that pulsates for a moment, and you all see a hint of nervousness on her face. But after a second, she waves her hand in a couple very quick bursts and motions, and the red radiant glow turns into a bright gold, and then a flash of light occurs, and the box itself bursts apart. And she slumps down into her chair, incredibly exhausted.
I'll now approach just to see what was in the box.
On the desk seems to be a series of chain-linked plates, 9 of them, each 3 inches on a side, cast of dark iron and stamped with infernal runes. What languages can everybody speak?
I can speak Celestial, Common, Elvish, Infernal, and Primordial.
Okay, so Raylan, you can understand what this says, and Sylvira would translate if anybody needed it. But anybody who cannot speak Infernal cannot read this. But Raylan, as you pick it up, would you read it, or would you look at it and read it? Would you pick it up? What would you do?
I would read it and probably pick it up to inspect it further at the same time.
Okay. So if you read it aloud, I will then share this with everybody, a translated version of it.
Yes, I would read it aloud.
And go ahead, you can read that if you want on stream, just for the sake of it.
I, Thavius Krieg, hereby swear a sacred oath to my master Zariel, Lord of Avernus, to uphold the agreement described in this contract. As part of the agreement, Elturel will be protected from the undead, and I am to become the ruler of Elturel in due time. Additionally, I will be awarded power, riches, and high standing in Avernus upon my mortal death. Until my death, I will not speak of the contents of this contract with any beings who are not also pledged to serve Zariel. To Zariel, I submit my soul for all time. I place her above all creatures, living and dead. I will obey her for all my days and beyond with fear and servility. Whatever I can be said to own in past, present, or future shall be considered the property of Zariel in truth. As such, when El Turel is rightfully mine, at that time also El Turel shall be forfeit to Zariel, and all persons bound by oath to defend El Turel will also be forfeit. I recognize that I shall have dominion over El Turel and Faerun for 50 years, after which time the device called the Solar Insidiator, hereafter known as the Companion, will return whence it came, taking El Turel and its oath-bound defenders with it, so long as that is Zariel's wish. All this is my everlasting pledge. Thavius Krieg.
That traitor.
That weasel bastard. I knew something was up.
Is that old guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just with us.
That
We
means
need to
the
warn.
Duke would have known. That means.
I have to warn Liara.
Sorry, who's Lyra?
They are Porter. The Blaze.
Oh, right.
And Sylvira will gather her senses a little bit, and then she will speak up. And she will say, "Well, this is quite the turn. I must admit I was a little suspicious of Thavius Krieg and his sudden come to power. But this I did not expect a pact with Zariel. All of Elturel, it wasn't destroyed, but it was taken and stolen into the Nine Hells themselves, into Avernus. This must be what has happened to the other cities as well. All those people, the 50 years he has bound defenders to his service. This is the oath that the Knights of Elturel have taken. They must be part of the contract. Anybody who has taken the Knight's oath from Elturel is their souls are forfeit."
Is there anybody here that can do sending?
Oh.
Yes, we have many mages that can do such a thing.
We kind of set Thaddeus Krieg free and let him go in the city.
No, he went with Liara Porter.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. He didn't go as a prisoner, though.
He lived. We must
tell the leaders of Boulder Gates at once. Must be many days ago now because of your journey. Who knows where he is or what he is up to at this point? The Flaming Fist, the leaders of Baldur's Gate, they must be warned.
Are you able to scry now just to see what the state Baldur's Gate is in?
Or even to find out where Krieg is right now.
I'm afraid my magical uses are arcane in nature, not divine, but we have many seers within these walls that we could surely attempt to use some powerful divination magic, but I'm not sure what kind of time we have by now. I mean, 5 days. Surely Davius Krieg is long gone by now, or worse.
Well, we should send the message anyway, just in case he decided to lay low.
Yes, of course. And she'll kind of beckon over to Fallister Fisk, and she'll say, "Go tell the other great readers at once that we must send messages out to Baldur's Gate, to those who are in charge. Warn them of this Davius Krieg and his true nature." And Fallister will wide-eyed just nod his head and move and run back down the stairs of the tower.
Great reader, if we're going to be dealing with Zariel possibly soon in the future, can we get a copy of all the texts related to Zariel and Avernus that we can take with us back to Baldur's Gate?
Yes, of course. I can do that for you, but it seems, based on this, that Elturel is not destroyed, that there are all these lives here could still maybe even be saved. I know it is. I know it is a long shot of a proposition, but if we were to send people there to Avernus, maybe they can find out how to bring Elturel back to the material plane even. Many of these contracts, they have loopholes, they have other ways to bypass them. Perhaps a trip to Avernus might prove fruitful in bearing more information on how we can overcome such a deal and ensure that future cities no longer suffer the same fate.
If I'm not mistaken, the last time anyone went to Avernus, most of them died and the rest came back worse for wear, swore never to go back.
It would not be an easy journey for sure. Avernus is fraught with many dangers, many powerful forces, a land of desolation and despair. It would take a special group of individuals in order to go there and make a difference. As she looks at you and then looks around the room slowly.
I start laughing. Of course.
I'm being volunteered again.
Nobody else knows but us. Who else could it be?
Well, you all seem to have already had dealings with this cult. You probably are best served to make such a journey if you are willing and able.
Do we even know how we would get there?
She says, I happen to know someone, a wizard named Traxagor. He lives in a tower 20 miles from here, and I've loaned him a spell book or two, so he owes me a favor. I could have you delivered safely to this tower, and he can use a plane shift spell to take you straight to Avernus and Elturel itself, wherever it may lie in there. And even more importantly, Traxagor is looking after an old friend of mine. Someone with a history of battling devils in the Nine Hells. I think you'll enjoy her company very much. Her name is Lulu.
All right, so do we have anybody who is there a teleportation circle or anything where we have a friend who's outside the city here. I can send a message to him with his bird if we can get somebody who can teleport him to Baldur's Gate, because otherwise it'll take him far too long.
Yes, we have mages who would be able to do such a thing. If your friend is outside of the gate and you provide a description of him, we can have some of the senior avowed conjure up a teleportation spell in order to send him back to the gate.
You can't
Be
miss
hard
him.
to miss
He'll be the only Warforged out there.
And in case there's more than one little bird.
Yeah, the little bird here on my shoulder will take you right to him, and I'll, without asking, I'll just kind of like grab a piece of blank paper and a quill and start writing down what we know so far as best I can, so the bird can carry it.
All right, perfect. And she will beckon her little friend there on the counter in order to follow the bird and grab one of the other senior avowed to go with him. And it'll go, and we'll go ahead and make that journey following the bird with little hops and skips.
Can I also write a small message on there too, just for Fist?
Yeah, you could certainly
I'll-
fit a message in there.
I'll DM it to you.
Okay, sounds good.
She says, well, if you wish to make any preparations, of course, just let me know once you are ready, and I can accommodate you and find you transportation to Traxagor's tower.
I currently have some scale mail being made for me at the smithy. Is there any way to get somebody to possibly expedite that?
Boss ML2 is at the smithy.
She'll say that,
Well, I'm sure that Kirill will not be as happy having his work rest, but considering the nature of this, I'm sure that he can be persuaded.
Excellent.
There's possibly one more thing, but it may not be related. I'm going to reach into my pocket. I'm going to pull out the amulet that Craggle left to me. It's got the different colors in it. We were investigating activity to do with a different cult, the Cult of the Dragon. I think I know who they swear fealty to. Do you know of their relation to Zariel and the Cult of the Dead Three, or the Cult of the Three?
Well, your group just continues to be full of surprises here. What you hold there is a rare artifact indeed. So many of these you have come by in your travels. This is the amulet of Tiamat, a great dragon goddess. Uh, it is said that prison lies in Avernus itself, a prison made by Asmodeus, and this amulet contains a vessel of her power, and even her soul, and it would be a key, rumor and lore has it, to possibly releasing her from her prison. If you are to be in possession and stay in possession of such a rare artifact, I would hold it close to your chest and probably not something that you want to openly display or share this knowledge with others.
And what of her relation to Zariel?
Well, her prison is said to be within the Nine Hells, most likely on Avernus. It is said that Tiamat herself once ruled Avernus as well, one of its many rulers before she was thrown down and cast aside by Asmodeus. I imagine Zariel would harbor some ill will towards Tiamat. I can't speak to the nature in total of the inner workings of any sort of relationship they might have, but I imagine them probably to be enemies.
That's good. Thank you. I'm going to close the amulet in my fist and put it back in my pocket.
You might should lock that up in her box with my shield.
I'll keep it. Thanks.
Is there anything else? Any other surprises or rare artifacts of lore that you might be keeping on you?
I don't think so.
I don't have anything else other than. Just kidding. I could show them all those stupid knives.
Not in front of everyone else, Igvis. So we're getting a message to Flame Porter. We're getting Fist to Baldur's Gate. And what are we doing?
Going to Avernus.
We're going to
We're
hell.
going to hell. Jinx.
Preferably not in a handcart.
Anarian, I don't think you're getting that shield back for a little while.
Should I ask for it back? Maybe we could.
No,
No, I think taking it to hell's a bad idea.
I agree.
Thank you
I'm just
for your
gonna-
assistance over my shoulder as I start walking out.
I was gonna grab you on the shoulder and be like, "And we're going." I'm gonna push you out the door.
Right, well, do you need time to make preparations? Otherwise, I can arrange for transport right away to Draxigar.
I just want the books. They want their armor, and then I think we're good to go.
Is there like a shop for like potions?
Yeah, you'll absolutely be able to find most things that you would desire. So out of character, they have lots of magical wares for sale. They can also create magical wares. So if there's anything that you'd have an interest magically in purchasing, you can probably get it here.
Do we still have the play-by-post server?
We do. Yep, it's in
Okay,
there.
we can probably do
I
that.
haven't used it in a bit.
We'll get on it.
And I'll ask her as we're on our way out. You wouldn't happen to have any items or anything you'd like to gift us? You know, to maybe help us along our journey?
Well, besides knowledge, I'm not sure Material-wise, that I do. Have anything specific to gift you? Just good luck and goodwill.
I guess that'll do.
She says, well, I will make arrangements for those books to be sent to you, and I will make arrangements to send you off in 24 hours, let's say. That should give you a day to rest, to research, to prepare in any way that you would like, and then I will send you off to meet Straxicor, my friend. Does this sound agreeable?
That'll work.
Yes, it will.
All right. As you all leave the tower to pursue various things, you'll be able to get those books, Igvis, which you can take to the Pillars of Pedagogy if you wish to research in private. Otherwise, Sylvira says you're more than welcome to use her private laboratory here if you wish to do your research here in the meantime, as well.
I think I would just go straight to the scribes and have them make copies of them for me.
Yep, you can also
So I
do
can
that
just-
as well.
so I can
And
take them
she
with-
will normally the fee for such a scribe would be 100 gold pieces per book. But Sylvira will utilize her standing and stature as a great reader in order to waive that price and make sure that you're able to copy those tomes for free.
Okay, awesome. And you can send me the message later of like what the names of the books are, and then I'll ask you questions about that.
Yeah, we can do that later. We can do that in the shopping and the play-by-post if you want, and private messages and stuff. All right, perfect. So what we'll do, it is currently 10:50. Why don't we take our 10-minute break, 10:50 Eastern, and then we'll come back, reconvene, and continue from there.
Sounds good.
All right, great. I will see you all in a little bit. All right, we are back. Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, session 34 after our quick break. So yeah, the adventurers here finding out some shocking news there after meeting with Sylvira Savikas. And now they were just kind of hanging out for a little bit before being whisked away by Sylvira to Traxigor. Who is somebody that will help them get to Avernus. But anyway, yes, so I just put you back on the Candlekeep map for now. You can be in various spots wherever you'd like to be over the course of the next 24 hours. You had sent out some messages. Your armor would be ready at the smithy as well. And you have your new outfit, Igvis, the books that you would have to be transcribed, you could bring to the House of the Binder, which would take them a little bit of time in order to actually transcribe them, but they'll be ready before you have to leave tomorrow morning. In addition, at some point in the night, Igvis, you are approached with a package that was express delivered from Baldur's Gate via teleportation. And it is a weapon that seems to be wrapped up. And when you undo that weapon, it is Fang.
Hey, they got my message. And it's fully remade.
It is fully remade.
Cool.
And I'm going to add some details about that on your character sheet later.
Okay, no problem. Then for now, I will just put it in my holster or my sheath and just kind of be like, "Hey, new toy. We'll see what it does later."
Otherwise, is there anything else anybody wanted to do? Otherwise, we can kind of speed forward the day unless there is something specific that you wanted to do or explore.
I mean, we could probably just speed me buying a couple potions. How much are they?
Yeah, if you're just looking for healing potions alone,
Yeah.
50 gold pieces each.
Okay, I will buy 2. Does anybody else need any? I can spare a few. Huh?
I'll buy 2 additional. You said 50 apiece?
Yep, 50 apiece.
Okay.
Does anybody else need any and not have the money for it?
Oh, good.
I have 3 healing potions on me already.
Okay.
I
I have 2.
5 technically.
All right, perfect. And if there's anything else that you want to buy, we can do some of that as well in the play by post. If there's anything else you think about, because you will have an opportunity between this session and next session where we can kind of iron out if there's anything extra you wanted.
Another ring of protection. Just kidding.
Okay, so we will kind of skip forward then. So you go about, you do some shopping, some requesting of certain items. You get your deliveries that you were looking for, and the next morning comes about. You're able to stay over at the House of Rest, for the day when eventually you do decide to go to sleep. There are extra dimensional portals that you end up walking through, and you each get your own little room and space that you're able to design to really look like anything that you can think of in your head. And the next morning, you are met by Thalister Fisk, who brings you back through the Emerald Doors using your writ by Sylvira back to her chambers. And she leads you up into a large tower of the main castle. And at the top of the tower, you are each given a griffin companion. And you hop on these griffins, and they take flight. And they head out to sea, flying just below the clouds. Candlekeep looks no less majestic from the air, but grows smaller as the griffins soar westward. Large rocky islands pass below you, and beyond them lies the open sea. After a long journey, you see a windowless, doorless stone tower, which somehow floats in the sky above. The griffins pass through jagged holes riddling the tower's conical peaks to land on the top floor, which has a spiral staircase leading down. And I'm going to change the map here real quick. We'll put you on here. So as you get there, that should be all of you on the map there. Those griffins drop you on top of this top tower, and you can see that down there to the south is a set of stairs that seem to go down as they drop you off. I don't know what happened to you there, Raylan. And as you descend, those stairs. One level down, you see a cluttered chamber, illuminated by various objects upon which continual flame spells have been cast. Scurrying about the room is an otter dressed in a tiny red cassock. The otter mumbles to itself in common, mentioning something about a tuning fork. Suddenly, it takes notice of you and stands upright. And it says,
Yes, Lulu, wake up. It looks like we have some visitors here. These must be the guests that Sylvira said were coming.
and at the sound of her name, a small elephant with golden fur appears from under a pile of blankets near a table strewn with alchemical equipment. The elephant takes to the air on feathery wings and lets out a pleasing trumpet sound as it goes.
Are you related, Igvis?
What was that?
So you related to the little tiny wings?
Yeah. But I kind of want to scratch their head.
So this elephant lets out a trumpeting sound, and I'm really quick going to share some artwork here with you.
While you do that, I'm going to ask if I can pet the elephant.
So that is Traxigor there, a tiny otter in those red robes. And this is the elephant, the golden elephant that he referred to as Lulu. And Traxigor looks at you and he says,
Well, you are the guests that Sylvira said that we were going to have. I am pleasantly surprised to see you, and I am glad that my debt to Sylvira shall be paid. So, I hear that I am supposed to be transporting you to the Nine Hells, to Avernus, and more specifically El Perel within Avernus.
That's the idea.
Well, as I'm sure you've already been made aware, this is Lulu, and Lulu will serve as a guide. I am glad to have her taken off my hands, and I can finally get some peace and quiet around here.
and Lulu will trumpet out and will go,
Hi, I'm Lulu. It's very nice to meet your acquaintance.
Lulu,
Hi,
can I
Lulu.
scratch your head?
What did you say about my head?
Can I scritch it? Give you scritches.
Oh, absolutely. I really like that.
I'll go and like behind the ear and just scratch.
Oh, you're so nice. I like you quite a lot. Oh, yeah, we're going to be bestest of friends.
So are we responsible for this creature if it dies in the Nine Hells? Because are you sure it's really cut out for this?
Oh, well, I'm quite capable of defending for myself, of course. Well, at least I think so. You see, I can't remember a lot about my past. You know, I think I was involved in some sort of great battle in Avernus, but I don't exactly remember where it was or why I was fighting or who I was fighting with, but I hope to regain those memories someday.
As long as you're not with Zariel, I think we'll get along. And scritches under the neck.
Oh no, I'm definitely
Off
not
to a
friends
great
with
start.
that. Zariel sounds like a very mean person.
Haven't met them, but I think they are.
If you can help me regain my memories, I'm hoping that maybe going there might help spark some things because I feel like I've been there before, and once I can get my memories, I'm sure that I'll serve as a great guide.
This all sounds so familiar to me.
and Traxigor will chime in and say,
Well, I'm sure that you will be a great guide, Lulu, and I will be able to listen to my own thoughts again. Anyway, is there anything you wanted to ask of me before we get this going?
Is your only debt to transport us to Elturel in the Nine Hells?
Well, yes, that is, my debt is to transport you there. I don't plan on staying, of course, but merely transporting you there. That's it. You will have to find your own way out.
I don't suppose you might have some sending stones on hand, would you? You could give me one and send one on to Baldur's Gate.
I do have sending stones, but they won't transcend the planes, though. So, your sending stone would be quite useless in the Nine Hells.
We could use it when we get back.
This is true. You could do that.
I would be incredibly grateful.
Absolutely, I have those around here, and he will give you a sending stone and will promise to send the other to Baldur's Gate. Is there anyone in particular you would like me to give this stone to?
To Liara Porter, please.
Liara Porter. All right, I will make sure that she has the second sending stone.
I think that's all for me, and I'll stand over here.
All right, you must be very prepared, of course. To have no questions from me whatsoever. You must do this all the time.
I got lots of books.
Lots of books. That is great. Knowledge is great. I have borrowed a couple books in my time. Okay, well, very well. Less chit-chat. The sooner the better. Where is that blasted tuning fork that I have? I need it for the spell. A tuning fork that is specifically tuned to Avernus. Could you help me search for it for a moment? And he asks you to help him search as he starts to rummage through piles of trinkets that he has.
Do we need a tuning fork to get back?
Well, if you plan to use the plane shift spell, you would need to have a tuning fork attuned to the plane that you wish to travel to. So, having one attuned to the material plane would be quite important if you were to use that method of returning.
Do you have one of those?
I actually do. As you mentioned, that one is somewhere around here, probably next to the one attuned to Avernus.
All right, I'll help you look.
Does it have the spell in it already, or is that something that we're going to have?
It is already tuned to the plane of existence. It will not have a spell innately tied to the object. It is something that you would have to be able to cast yourself. Or have cast for you.
But having the component would make that job a lot easier.
Correct. You will need the component in order to use the spell, of course. Very well. Well, let's get this on. Let's look for this blasted fork. And after a little while, you help him, and you are able to find the forks that he is looking for, especially with that perception, Arian. And you are also able to locate a fork that is attuned to the material plane. So he will give one of you the tuning fork attuned to the material plane, whoever would like to be holding that.
I think it's probably likely to be me.
Somebody of arcane persuasion.
Okay, so he will hand it to you, Dolakesh, if everybody else is in agreement.
Works for me.
All right, cool. And Lulu says, "Wow, this is really exciting. We're just going to be the bestest of friends, and through the power of friendship, we are going to be able to overcome anything that comes our way."
This might be worse than Pal.
Our
How-
friendship.
How heavy is Lulu?
She is she's like the size of a dog.
Okay, in that case, I'll just hold her in my arms and just be like, all right, let's get going.
Okay, sounds good.
More screeches.
And she will like flap the little wings on her back, and she'll nuzzle her trunk around you a little bit to wrap you in it, and say, "Really, you are the best." And you see Traxagor kind of roll his eyes a little bit, and he will look at you and say, "All right, well, are you ready then? No time like the present."
It's like
As
those
ready as
game
we're gonna be.
menus that are like, you cannot return once doing this.
All right. And he will ask you all to gather around in a circle. And I am going to show you something that I am also going to show the stream in a very specific way.
They know more than us. It's fine.
Just a quick question. I just want to make sure that this works right when I do it. If I do that, can you still hear the music on your side playing in the background?
I can still hear music.
Okay, good.
So
Okay, I just want to make sure that me doing this will not stop you guys. You might want to up your ambient volume if you have turned it down in Foundry. You don't have to turn it all the way up, but you can adjust that for what I am about to play for you. So, as you stand together in a circle, Traxagor taps the tuning fork on the floor and raises it into the air, and he begins to chant over the hum created by the fork's two vibrating prongs. The discordant hum reverberates over the stone walls of the chamber as Traxagor's voice fades and the sound of the tuning fork becomes more and more focused in your mind. Sparks of blue and white energy erupt in a blinding flash of light as the world around you blurs and reality itself seems to tear apart. You blink and instantly find yourself flying through a swirling red sky, your body seemingly stretched and elongated as your feet rapidly pull you down. What only takes seconds feels like an eternity until your feet hit solid ground and your body coalesces back into its recognizable form. A hot, stinging air assaults your senses. The city street in which you stand is lined with buildings that are crumbling, if not already collapsed. The ground shudders beneath your feet, and in the red, smoky sky, a 400-foot diameter sphere of darkness discharges strokes of bluish-white lightning that strike the city at regular intervals. Perched atop a distant bluff overlooking the rest of the city is a crumbling fortress. Traxagor gazes up at the black orb nervously, utters a few arcane symbols, and disappears in the blink of an eye. Soon after, a high-pitched scream assaults your ears and grows louder as you sense someone or something approaching at great speed. And that is where we'll leave it off for this session.
Sounds like a good time.
All right. Well, if everybody wants to go ahead and say goodbye to the stream for me.
GT.
Goodbye.
Night.
Bye.
Good night.